All right, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the slice. How do we get rid of it? Or how do we get rid of that kind of that killer first move from the top of the backswing where the shoulders start to rotate? Because I hear it so often with golfers saying, right, get to the top of the backswing, I struggle with my rotation, I really need to turn. And really what happens is you get to the top of the swing here and you turn. And when you turn the body, the club goes on the outside. So what we need to be able to do is get the feeling, that sensation. Before we get to any sort of rotation, we have to get the club into position. We've got to bump and shift the weight into the lead foot, then we turn. So out of three things, the turn comes last. We've got to get the first two bits right first, otherwise we're in serious trouble. I think the most common move that I see is actually people go more turn, shift, and then they try and lower the arms down into the golf ball, and that's what makes the club come from out to in. So what we've got to try and do is re-synchronize those three moves. Now I've actually got the Gem Golf ball and rod out here because it's not for that purpose alone that we talk about using this for your takeaway, because it helps keep the toe of the club up during the takeaway and into the follow through. And it's an amazing little drill. I've actually just been using it on the range, which to be honest gave me the inspiration to come and shoot this video, because one of the key things this does is it's weighted. This is very, very heavy. So as you get to the top of the backswing here, what I'd want you to try and do is just get the feel that the ball is just pulling down into that position. Now, if you don't have the Gem Golf ball and rod, you could just try and do something that's weighted to the club head. So you could probably put some lead weights around the bottom of the shaft, or you could maybe even put a head cover over the top of it and fill it with stuff. Just get imaginative, okay? What I want you to be able to do with this is just basically get the weight of the head 10 times heavier than what it is right now. Because when you get to the top of the backswing here, I want you to really feel the weight of the club just pull it down. Let gravity really just pull it down to the ground. Now, that first movement is going to come from the arms working down, and I've got a bit of help with the weight there. Then I'll bump into my left side, and then I'll rotate into my follow through. So I'm going to use a club that's got a bit of weight, and I can really feel it just pulling down behind my body. Then I'm going to shift, and then I'm going to turn. You've got to synchronize this differently to maybe what you're already doing if you do slice the golf ball. And then what I would do is grab let's say a normal club, or a club without weight, pull it down into the same position, try and generate that same feeling as you come into the golf ball. And straight away, woohoo, got a little draw into the heart of the green, which I'm very happy about, obviously. So using weighted clubs can help give you the sensation, the feel. Now, obviously when you go from weighted club into a kind of standard club, it feels really loose, it feels light, it feels pretty horrible, to be perfectly honest. But one of the things, the building up what you've got to feel from this is you've got to feel that move down. You've got to, how do you transition that? What part of your body, can you isolate a part of your body that makes that move? Regardless of the fact that the weight of the club or the weight of the head or the weight of the Gem Golf rod is pulling you down, or it's encouraging you to pull down, you still do that move. I know the weight's in there, so there's something in your body that's stopping you from doing that. Because even with a weight on the club like this, I could still pull it down and turn. I still go on the outside. There's something now that's kind of making you just get that sensation, that feel first, and then into your rotation. You've got to be able to isolate what that feeling is. And for a lot of golfers, it's very different. You can look at two areas. First of all, we're going to talk about lead arm, then we're going to talk about trail arm. So let's go with trail arm first. If I get a standard club, so I take away the weighted club, get to the top of the backswing, take my lead arm off. Right, where am I going from here? Look at the angle of the shaft, okay? It's approximately 45 degrees. I want to lower my arm, but I want to maintain that 45-degree angle, okay? So I'm going to lower my arm, maintain the 45-degree angle. That's what my trail arm is doing. It's not coming into my body, it's just lowering downwards, keeping this 45-degree angle with the shaft of the club, all right? Go to the top of the backswing, take my trail arm off a little bit harder, and then try and keep that same angle of the shaft, lower the club down, okay? Notice how there's no rotation from my chest, no movement in my lower body. I'm initiating the transition from here. This is the part of the swing that's initiating the transition. You've got to the top of the backswing, you've got a powerful rotation, you've got a key one as well, we're going to come into it in a second, you've got depth in your backswing, so you've got a powerful rotation. So now you could use the weighted club and the isolated feeling of either the right arm or the left arm, or both, and lower it down. And then you rotate through the golf ball after you've shifted your weight. So you lower, shift, rotate. It is not ever going to be rotate, shift and lower, because that is going to be your slice move. So the lower is of the arm. We always do it. You will do it regardless on your golf swing, purely because that club's got to get from there down to there. So you will lower the club. We've got to make sure that you lower it at the same time. One thing that I briefly touched on there was depth in the backswing. Okay, what do I mean by that? Is if you don't rotate very much into your backswing and you get the arms kind of working upwards, notice how the hands are very close to my head, all right? So if I get my hands close to my head, it's going to be really difficult to shallow the club down on the inside or neutral into the golf ball. Chances are, and the most common one, is that the arms will start to work outside of the body. You've got to really feel the depth being the arms kind of working behind this trail shoulder. That's a key one. Hands have got to try and be either in line with or behind the trail shoulder. Then the club can work down, then you can shift and rotate. So they're the two extremely key areas to this, to make sure that you get the club into the right position, and most importantly, you get the transition absolutely perfect as well. Guys, I hope this video has helped. There's lots of little nuggets of information in there that hopefully you can take to the driving range to help you with your transition, whether you're slicing it or even hooking it. But particularly for those that slice it, you've got to get the sequencing of your downswing correct. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Also, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time for more lessons.